Doctors, nurses, I want to tell you about 3 changes I made to my private practice and my private clinic that really boosted my revenue and my profit. The first change I made was to stop doing the thing that everybody else seems to do. I ran a vein clinic, and most vein clinics charge for their services according to what treatment they provide. So, for example, most vein clinics at the time were charging for endovenous laser either per vein or per leg. And then they would charge for ultrasound guided foam sclerotherapy by a session. And they would charge for follow up, they would charge for a scan, and so forth. So I had a menu of prices. And what that meant was that I became a commodity. My services were commoditized. And by that I mean that when people looked at various websites, looked at other vein clinics or other private doctors, vein specialists, they could see what was being offered and what was being charged for that. We were all offering what was a commodity. And that means that people would look at various websites, compare the prices, and they would be price driven. We were commoditized, price driven. And one change that I made was that I would remove the list of treatments that I offer, and I would offer a service where I would make an assessment, consultation, a duplex ultrasound scan, a discussion of the results, a written report, a letter to the GP or the referring doctor, and I would charge for that service. And then I would charge for the treatment of the vein condition of their leg, one set price, including the follow-up appointment. And I offered a guarantee that if at the follow-up appointment I hadn't achieved what I set out to achieve, I would treat them again at no extra charge. And if any of the veins were problematic within 12 months of my treatment, I would see them again at no extra charge, and I would treat them. I turned my commoditized services into a bespoke or customized service that was very difficult for people to compare. At one price and one outcome. And that really drove up my price that I could charge, the cost of my services. It meant that there were perhaps fewer customers, but the purpose of my business was not to serve as many people as possible. It was to make as much money as possible and as much profit as possible in an ethical way, offering good value and good service. So that was the first change I made. The second change I made was that I stopped talking about the treatment modalities, the ultrasound guided foam sclerotherapy, the endovenous thermal ablation, phlebectomies. I stopped talking about those and I emphasized the transformation in appearance, transformation in the health of their legs, the transformation in their symptoms. And I offered them the prospect of improved health that would be ongoing for many years and reduce their risks of complications. And that was a big change that meant that people were attracted to my services rather than attracted to a particular treatment modality. Third change I made was to stop treating patients with private health insurance. Private health insurance hasn't really reimbursed me satisfactorily for my services, and in my opinion, I wanted to offer a better service than the private health insurance companies could actually pay me for. And when I stopped seeing privately insured patients, yes, I lost some people. Some people with private insurance would go elsewhere, but my purpose, as I pointed out already, was not to serve as many customers or patients or clients as possible, but to make as much money and profit in return for a highly valuable service. So there you are, the three changes. So there you are, the 3 changes I made to my practice. I stopped offering a commoditized service, a commoditized product. I emphasized transformations, and I stopped seeing patients with private health insurance. Now, let me know what you think of these. Maybe there are things that you might want to add to your private clinic or your private practice. Like I say, don't do everything that everybody else is doing. Do something different. offer bespoke, customized service and offer a value driven service rather than a price driven service.